if you are stuck at the £100 to £500 mark on Etsy, that's a really rubbish pound sign, then you need to listen / watch this. Or maybe you've just been thinking, hey, I know what I need to do. I need more product. I hear you and I understand your thinking, but no. Today, I'm going to walk you through how 6-figure Etsy shops are actually built quietly without burning your soul to the ground. And something that I want to pop in your mind now before we get started is this. So if working harder actually worked, why would you still be at the point that you're at now? Because so many people think the key to scaling, the key to getting past this is to work harder. But you've probably tried that at this point. You've probably tried to work harder and it's not really worked out for you. So if we haven't met properly, hello, my name is Steph and I've been running and coaching handmade business owners since 2016. And I have seen that the same patterns repeat again and again and again. Same mistakes, same burnout, same sellers blaming themselves when it's actually the system that's broken. It's actually trying to get past this that has been the number one issue for them. So I'm going to guess right now what your current strategy is looking like to break past this plateau. You are probably launching new products because you're like, you know what, people obviously don't like my old products. Maybe if I do this thing, people might like it. Maybe it's obsessing over reels while you're stuck in that 200 view jail. No one's really doing anything with it. Or maybe you're doing random sporadic social media posts at 11 o'clock at night because you're like, oh, I need to get more views in. Or maybe you're refusing to raise your prices because you're thinking, well, you know, economy and blah, 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 like people are not going to pay for that. Or maybe you're feeling busy, but you're not profitable, but yet you're doing more, but the profits are less. Like money is feeling like less. The reason why I'm confidently saying this to you right now is because 6-figure Etsy shops or even like 5-figure Etsy shops, they do not grow on an accidental luck thing, whatever that is. They grow by simplifying, okay? And this is probably not spelt right. Simplifying? They grow by simplifying, not adding more stuff. Like, we do not want to be doing this. We want to actually be doing this. Let's get into it. So part one that I want to talk about with you right now is niche, okay? But it's niche depth, not niche hopping, okay? Now, you've probably heard the word niche and you're probably being driven insane by trying to figure out what this means to you, figure out whether you've niched too much. Like, in your head, you're like, the logic of this is if I niche too much, my pool of buyers is going to be smaller. But here is where the problem lies, is because if you are too much of a general shop, I see this happen a lot with like general gift shops. And they think, oh, hey, if I offer lots of different products, I'm going to get lots of different buyers. But actually the opposite is true. As we already know, more products do not equal more buyers or more sales or more money. What actually does move the needle here is clarity, okay? And people being 1000% sure of what you do and that you're good at it and that you're a specialist at it. And let's just quickly talk about specialists, right? Because specialists, they charge a lot more because they have this form of mastery of that specific thing. Like, let's say you have a BMW car. You take your car to a professional specialist BMW garage, you're going to be paying more than taking it to Joe up the road. But you know that your car is going to be in the best hands. So going off of this, 6-figure shops, they do not sell a bit of everything. They sell one thing really, really well, and that is how they do it. So if you're selling like candles, prints, bookmark, tote bags, key rings, jewelry, etc., what this is doing is this is confusing the bejesus out of your buyers, okay? So one thing I want to leave you with is depth of niche sells, variety of niches stalls. All right, so now let's get into part 2 of this, which is product strategy does not rely on luck. Your product range should be doing one of three things. It should be attracting the right people, it should be converting the right people, and it should be repeating the first two steps. That is what it needs to do. And if everything you sell is relying on new customers finding you, that is exhausting. It's like you're on this hedonic treadmill of more traffic, more traffic, more traffic, more traffic, more traffic, more, and that's exhausting. What six-figure shops focus on is this, okay? They focus on repeat buyers. So if you do not know which product brings people in, which one makes you profit, and which one makes them keep coming back, you are missing a trick. You are missing that low-hanging fruit that is going to make this whole thing work so much easier. Think of it as this cycle that happens, and that is the thing that six-figure shops have actually mastered. It's why they do things like they have an email list. It's why they do things like having a loyal brand follow, and they invest so much time and energy and money on those things because they know that without this they're not scaling their business. All right, so part 3 of this, need to get the right end of the Apple Pencil. Part 3 of this is marketing in a non-post and pray approach. So this is where I'm going to lovingly shake you up a bit, okay? I love Instagram. I think it's great. I think there's so many different post types that suit every personality and every type of business, okay? But Instagram is not your business model, okay? Instagram is not your business model. It is a tool, and it's a tool to be used in the best possible way. It's a temperamental tool, but it's still a tool, okay? So you've probably seen me talk about this before, okay? Six-figure shops, they don't rely on one traffic source. In fact, in 2026, I would say to you, please do not rely on one traffic source. It's going to be the biggest thing to hold your business back is if you are just relying on Etsy search, or you're just relying on Instagram, or you're just relying on email. You need at least 2. I'm just going to put the extra F in there because I've spelt traffic wrong. But you see what I mean, right? Because without traffic, they don't build that trust and they don't get sales. And let's say like you're even at this point probably not getting traffic. I would hazard a guess that it's because you previously relied upon one traffic source and that's not really working for you now. So therefore, what's happened is that you've kind of put your business in a very precarious position where you're putting all your eggs in one basket, in one traffic basket, and expecting that to continue until the day's end, you know? The fact of it is that you need different multiple traffic sources. Okay, reliable traffic sources. And the other thing about this is that you need to master those traffic sources. So let's say you're like, hey, I really like Instagram. I would say you want to build that up to at least 10,000 followers on Instagram before you move on to doing something else. I see so many people who are doing Facebook, business group, business page, TikTok, this, all within the hopes of getting more traffic. But what actually ends up happening is you're spreading yourself incredibly thin. So actually, I'm taking more off of your plate and almost encouraging you to focus on your home hub. Focus on one traffic source to master at a time. Because by the time you're hitting 10K on any traffic source, you're going to be at that point where you are getting consistent views from that traffic source every single day. Okay. So let's say you are on Etsy. Okay. I would say, okay, brilliant. You've got Etsy search on there. as a given. So that's one traffic source. Now that's kind of falls outside of the whole mastering one, because there is no 10k number to hit. Okay, you can hit 10k views, but the fact of it is that you want to be getting pretty good at listing your listings in a way whereby you know that on Etsy search you are going to be getting a decent amount of views every single week. Now, side note here is that you cannot judge whether your traffic is working, your Etsy shop is working, your products are working, if you are getting less than 100 visits or views wherever you sell your products a week. I always get this question. They're like, oh, I don't get enough views. And I'm like, okay, well, if you're getting less than 100 views a week, you can't even assess whether that product is working well, your brand is working well, your products are working well, your listings are doing well. Like, you need to be getting at least 100 views a week in order for you to even judge if that is a factor there, okay? So, like, let's say you have Etsy search and let's say you have Instagram, but at the moment you're also thinking about TikTok and you're also thinking about X, and you're also, I don't know why TikTok has gone all weird like that, but you know what I mean. Or maybe you're thinking, oh, okay, I'm going to do Pinterest, or maybe you're thinking, oh, I'm going to do email as well. I'd be saying no to all of these, and I would be saying focus on Etsy search, focus on Instagram, build Instagram up to 10k, and then move on to another traffic source. It's just the most supportive way of being able to do this. All right, let's now move on to part 4 of this. And this is, it's pricing. We're going to get into it. We're going to be talking about money. If raising your prices makes you feel nauseous, that is completely normal. But here's the thing. You cannot scale a business without doing it, okay? Because what ends up happening is that, you might get the traffic and you might get the sales, and you might be in the top 10% of all Etsy shops that are getting the traffic and sales, but you are going to get so super exhausted, so super burnt out, that you're going to end up resenting it. And that is naturally going to affect how your brand shows up. So what I see all the time is people are like, I need to sell more units. I need to get more traffic. I need to sell more units, because they're going, okay, I am making £5 profit, let's say, per unit. And they think, oh, I can't raise my prices because then I'll be more expensive than the majority of my competitors. I feel a bit sick doing that. I feel like I'm letting people down. I feel like I'm betraying people. I feel like I'm selling out, and all those kinds of feelings start to bubble up, right? But the issue with that is that I see people going, oh, okay, I need to sell 100 more of these every single month to be able to make my income goal, to be able to make the sales that I want to make, right? But that leads to burnout, because if you're creating your products, and let's say it takes you 30 minutes and you make £5 profit, that's £10 an hour that you are making from your business. That's without, VAT and fees and God knows what else, taxes. So the fact of it is that people focus more on getting more traffic, more views to get more sales, to sell more, to make more units, to sell more units, right? Whereas actually you want to focus on each individual sell. You want to raise your profit, okay? So let's say then your profit then becomes £7, okay? Still not ideal, but maybe you only need to sell 60 more units to be able to make your income goal, okay? So yes, your sales might actually drop off a little bit because you've raised your price, but the payoff of making more per unit means you're still actually making more money. So all of this to say is understanding your math is super important here, because so many people automatically assume more sales equals more profit, but that is not always the case. Okay, so now I want to introduce you to Sam, and I want to introduce you to Lydia. Okay, now if you recognize any of yourself in any of these characters, I've just spilt water all down the front of myself. Never mind, we'll just put it in the hair to make it a bit more curly. If you see any of yourself within Sam and Lydia here, I want you to take note of that, okay? So Sam, she's always adding new products, always, because she thinks that's what you need to do when you run a handmade business. You're continuously adding more. Sam also panics a lot when sales dip. She posts more. That's Sam's approach. More. She will not raise prices for some reason. She just will not do it. She feels like it'll price her out the market. She's like not on board. She just says, I need more time. She's like, I just need more time. I always need more time. Sam is tired. Sam is talented, but Sam is extremely stuck. Okay. Whereas Lydia, she trims, that's how you spell trims, clearly, her product range. If you're listening on the podcast, I'm writing on my iPad. That's why I'm like laughing to myself, because it's just terrible. She trims her product range. She fixes her listings. Okay, like so. She does raise her prices, and she reviews them at least every 6 months, so she knows she's never like lowballing herself. And she builds that sales system. Remember that one I was saying about attracting, converting, repeat, basically getting a lot more repeat buyers, okay? Lydia doesn't hustle harder here. She thinks clearer. She is at the same skill level as Sam, okay? So skill, product, brand, it's not an issue here. But Lydia is thinking differently about it, and that is the difference. Same product, same like skill, different outcomes. So all of this to say is the core belief that I want you guys to leave this with. And I guess the core lesson really is you do not need more time and more product, okay? That is something that you do not need. What you do need is more simplicity, okay? Direction and clarity. And those are the things that you need, okay? Now, I know that sometimes looking at this can make you feel like, oh, well, if it was that easy, everybody would be doing it. But actually, simplifying and removing stuff is really, really hard, because we think everything's important. We think everything needs our attention all the freaking time. But the reality is that it does not. And we get stuck in this decision paralysis, especially if you are neurospicy like me. My God, decisions can be really hard. But making those calls, making those cuts is going to be the thing that's going to propel you forward. And it is, as a coach, it's something that I've seen over and over and over again. So core belief, you do not need more time or more products. What you do need is more simplicity, direction, and clarity. Stick it on your wall, tattoo it on your forearm. I mean, don't do that, but just put it somewhere where you're going to see it every single day. Okay, so your homework is, I want you to list your top 3 products by profit, not by revenue or by sales, but by profit. I want you to choose just one of them. And then I want you to simplify, okay? So how I want you to do this is write down what you're currently doing and then remove one of those things that is not affecting your profit. It's not driving more sales. It's not doing anything for your business, okay? So that is the things that I want you to do. Choose your top 3, okay? Choose one of them to work on. Simplify by removing one thing that you're doing with that product right now. So if you're listening on the podcast, go and listen to the next episode in the queue, because that is going to help this solidify and land a lot more. And if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe so that you are not missing these videos every single Wednesday when I put them out. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you all in the next one. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you love this episode, make sure you hit the follow button so you never miss the next one. And also, why not come and hang out with me on Instagram? It's at Handmade Bosses for daily tips, behind the scenes. And also, don't forget, you can catch the video version of this podcast over on YouTube too. Until next time, keep going towards your handmade business goals, boss, because the world really does need those special creations that only you can make.